All right, bruh fans, we are back for season 3. Of course, we got 3 episodes yesterday. I will be doing separate reviews for each episode, so don't worry, they're not going to be compact into this one video. Also, no cutaways, no funny cutaways, because it's 3 episodes this week, so I don't have time to do cutaways for every single one. Like I promised, I would try to have my reviews up by Friday, and it is Friday, so I can't waste any time. So, what I'll be doing, a video per episode, so that's 3 videos right there. Then I'll do like one just video by itself, kind of talking about all 3 episodes in general, and whether or not this was a strong start to season 3. But off the rip, this episode, season 3, episode 1, entitled The Doghouse, John finds himself tangled up in Lydia's schemes, literally. I thought that out of the 3 episodes, this was the best one. But when it comes down to it, what would I score the episode? 9 out of 10. Yeah, thought it was a 9 out of 10. So, before we go any further, make sure you hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video and hit subscribe. And let's jump in. We pick up where we left off. Actually, we get a recap of season 2 first, but no need to go over that because I have episode reviews for every episode of season 2. Come on now. So, I was actually a bit surprised because it's the morning. And then I remembered, oh, I get it, because in the last episode of season 2, Greg was getting ready to go to work. So was Darla, when she stopped by, so they can talk about the awkward situation they were in the prior night when, we found out that she was a trans woman. And then they were like, okay, well, we'll have dinner tonight. So yeah, continuity wise, we're good to go. It's the morning after. There was no massive time jump between seasons 1 and 2. As far as I can tell. It depends on what kind of references are made once the season continues. But we have John asleep, and then he randomly wakes up and finds Lydia, who's been on his bed all night. Apparently, she did leave the apartment when John, asked her to, because he was afraid of her. Miss Alice called her to come back, let her in. They sat on the couch and was drinking and talking all night. And then she told Lydia to go into John's room. She's gone to work. And I mean, that she must have wanted this thing to happen, because how often does Miss Alice throw a fit to have John go down and open a sandwich shop instead of her? So she kind of orchestrated this entire thing. I have so many thoughts about this, but I can't talk about them all now because this is only the first episode. Maybe I'll talk about it in episode 3. But for now, I'm just like, wait, why would she even do this? So John says, okay, you got to get out of here, or, I got to get ready to go to work. Lydia doesn't take no for an answer. She takes off her blazer, throws it on the floor, and my goodness. Wow. All I got to say, you got to be a strong man to walk away. I'm not saying you're a weak man if you can't, but dang it, I don't think John was caught in the right time frame or state of mind. All right, so it's hilarious to me how she mentions, look at these thighs. I'm like, thunder thighs. Funniest line. We're not even 4 minutes to the episode. She gets on top of John. Can you be gentle? Slaps him in the face. Hell no. N-word, we about to F. And when I tell you I had to pause the episode and laugh for a good 4 or 5 minutes, it's true, because that was funny. And it really just reminded me of the idea that, yes, bruh is a comedy. But the thing about it is, when the bruhs get into very, very, very serious situations and you laugh, but then you see the consequences of those actions, yet again proves that unlike sisters, these bruhs actually take L's. They get way more L's than W's. That's all I'm saying. So, they get to it. And the funny thing is, Lydia makes it clear that Miss Alice was wrong about him being small. And then she rides him. But then we get to the theme song, and the opening visuals are actually slightly different. Greg was added to the opening. And then we go over to the next scene. Okay, so Bill is actually making an incredible breakfast for Regina. I'm just looking around like, wow. Okay, because on the, the little island in the kitchen, I think he had some, bacon and a little container with fruit and whatnot. And she gets up, but, she feels like this breakfast is just a way for him to get a pass over the whole Natalie thing. But he just reassures her, look, this is just a thank you for you being cool about it. And, I didn't notice this at first, but when we kind of change the camera over, we can actually see like buttered biscuits on the counter. I'm just looking like, ain't this some waking up at 4 o'clock to make breakfast at Hardee's looking? Look, I used to work at Bojangles, so I know what it's like to wake up early before Jesus and the Roosters to get to a restaurant and make sure, the first round of food was ready for the, customers going to work. So to see him have a spread like this and her to be unappreciative, I'm just like, look, you can feel the way you feel about Bill. But I don't think that eating a biscuit gets him off the hook. It just shows that, hey, you know what? We're not letting food go to waste around here. That's all I'm saying. But then she kind of dangles the keys, if you will, to the topic of, oh, I know what you're trying to do because you're scared when I said I'd take half of your stuff. And, he's like, come on, stop playing now. And his whole thing is that every chance he gets, he's going to show an act of thanks to show that he appreciates her because, he's trying to be a loving husband. Then there's a knock on the door. And here comes trouble. Pam comes in and Lord have mercy. It's drama. All I'm saying is, shouldn't there be a little bit of respect because you coming into my home? But here we go. Pam comes in. All right, Pamela. What are you doing here? We're carpooling. So, Regina, did Bill talk to you? And I'm like, what the fuck? Come on! Even Bill. Okay, just throwing this out here because I'll mention this in another video when I talk about all 3 episodes. Even when I have like, okay, I'm mad about this, or I want to complain about that, or I wish somebody would say something, I cannot tell you how many times throughout these 3 episodes I would say something out loud to my screen watching the episode, but then a character will say exactly what I'm saying, and I'm like, damn, validation. That's why I love this show. Okay, so Bill calls Pam out, like, why you gotta come in here starting some stuff right off the rip in the morning? Because obviously going back, and again, continuity, which I love, back to the season finale. I think that's when Pam caught Bill in the yoga studio with Natalie after getting married, and she just went off on him mainly because of the fact that she's upset about what happened to Mike. But at the same time, you hurt my friend. She just called me to tell me how excited she was about getting married, and she was getting, something nice for you so you can spend your first night together as husband and wife, and you're here with another woman. Well, yeah. Well, fine. You tell Regina what you did, or I will. Okay, Pam. And it's like, no, you ain't going to come over to my house or apartment or loft or whatever Bill lives in and start some mess early in the morning after I slaved in the kitchen making all this delicious looking breakfast that make the viewers drool. Look. I was hungry when I watched the episode, and you starting all this crap. So, it just seems that Bill is sweating bullets here because Regina points out that, oh, I think he sweated enough because, oh, did you tell him? Do you still got the papers? It's hard for me to root for Bill because I've talked so much shit because he deserves it for the things he's done. But at some point, it's like, this is wrong on so many levels. I just wonder if this is what Will and Jada are going through right now, where Will wants to leave, but Jada has the papers for divorce. Like, oh, if you want to leave me, Mr. Will Smith, I will take you for everything you have. So it's like he's trapped. Bill might be in the same boat because he doesn't want to lose half his stuff. I mean, but then again, shouldn't it say something that he preferred to possibly lose half of his stuff if it meant not losing Regina by agreeing to marry her. But then at the same time, why would you go to another woman and get hard in front of her moments after you got married? Yeah, I don't know. Beats me. So then again, we get back to the scene and, Bill doesn't appreciate the jokes about possibly just taking half his stuff. So it's like, this seems like a very unfunny thing to joke about. But then again, I haven't been in a relationship in quite a while. I really don't know what passes as foreplay or just being cruel. So they end up leaving for work. Regina takes a piece of bacon and Bill's like, don't share with her. But then again, I forgot this is TV land where it's very common for a person, usually a wife, a mother, or someone to go above and beyond, making a whole freaking, Golden Corral breakfast buffet, but nobody either eats anything at all or they take like an apple and it's like, I know you ain't wasting all this dang food. The dog can't eat all this. He'll have high blood pressure. So that's the end of that. Bill goes to see Mike, and this is easily the best scene in all 3 episodes. That's not to say the other scenes are bad, but this definitely stands out for a lot of reasons, and we're going to get into it now. So we asked Mike about how his weekend was and whatnot, so I'm assuming that today is Monday. Yeah, because his weekend retreat was about, the rehab and everything. So, key thing, when Mike opens the door to let Bill in, and he turns around to walk over to the couch, notice how it looks like Mike is kind of rubbing his nose, and I'm like, please don't tell me he didn't do any drugs or anything that morning, but maybe it's kind of an out of habit thing, but it was just one of those nonverbal cues that I noticed, and I'm like, okay, I'm watching you, Mike. All right, so Bill comes in, and he wants to get advice over the whole marriage thing, and, because she keeps threatening to take half his stuff. Mike brings up the fact that, hey, if you got anything on her, go to the judge to get the marriage annulled. Simply put, it will protect you from getting half your shit taken. And Bill is, conflicted about it because she did say on the day we got married, or that morning, she slept with Peter. And then she said she was lying about it, but then Mike is like, well, Bill, are you sure she's lying about it? And I don't know, but I don't want to, I don't know if I should do that to her. It's like, can it be done in secret? How are you going to get a secret marriage annulment? It doesn't work that way. And the thing about Bill is, it's like, you go to somebody, and this is one of the things like, Andy or even Karen does on Sisters. You go to somebody for advice, but then when they don't tell you what you want to hear, you want to get all defensive. It's like, hey, you came to me for advice, or you only hear what you want to hear. You're the one who said you would get married, and even though we told you not to, and now you got to deal with the consequences. You should have got a prenup. So, what you need to do, go to the judge, tell the situation, save half your stuff. And he's not sure if he should do it. But it's funny because they have a moment where Bill is like, come on, man, I'm not stupid. And then it cuts away to Mike. And then if you just look at how his face is, I'm like, the way he kind of like shot his eyes over at Bill and looked away. I'm like, that's the same look I give Bill more often than not. There were just so many moments between these two. Like when Bill was getting up because, he tries to make fun of Mike about getting his life together. Get my life together. I'm not the one trying to who's about to lose half my shit. You better go to that judge. It's just so many things about that I love. So this was truly one of the most bruh moments of these 3 episodes. So this was definitely the best scene in my opinion. So Bill is thinking about whether or not to get the annulment. So we go over to Miss Alice, who is flirting with a customer as he's about to leave. Greg shows up looking for John, and because apparently John was blowing up his phone. There's a lot of back and forth, and while I wanted to like, okay, did this scene really have to be this way? Nope, Greg does what he did in season 2, where he was like, look, I ain't trying to be disrespectful. I ain't got time for all this. I came over here looking for John. You want to get into an argument about me giving a bad call on you having menopause. I don't know where Tom is or when he's coming back. even though I feel like that contradicts what we learn in next episode, but we'll get to that later. So she pretty much is happy that she let Lydia come into the apartment, and the fact that she's a killer, and Greg is like, wait, is he okay or what? You don't think I know my son? You don't like the way I raised my son? Look, I was just asking to see if you knew what he was doing because he was blowing up my phone, so that's it. And some backstory. It turns out Greg's mother is a minister. And that's about it. So, moving on. This scene kind of confused me here. Bill actually goes back to Mike's house, and he just wants to do a couple things, for one, to make sure that the annulment won't be a secret, but then also to make sure Mike is good, because it's like, look, man, you only had 1 weekend at the rehab. Are you sure you're good? And Mike's like, yeah, I was there. I was talking to Natalie, and she's helping me through it. And this is where we get to the forced drama that kind of reminds me of season 2, where Bill, even though Tom told him not to do it, went over to Mike's place to tell him about the whole Pam kiss scene and whatnot, and how Mike got into his feelings without really listening to his bruh. Yeah, I was like, here we go. I even made a post on Wednesday about this on Instagram, like when Tom tells Mike not to sleep with Natalie, and I'm like, I get there's a bro code, but at the same time, 1, Mike is technically still single. Number 2, Bill is married. Mike says that, and I'm like, there we go. You did it for me, Mike. I don't have to save myself. But yeah, Mike reminds him that he's married. What you getting in your feelings for? You got a whole wife you're worried about. That, well, to be honest, you need to be out there trying to get that marriage annulled, but you're trying to give me attitude because I'm talking with Natalie, who works at the place that I go to for rehab. So, he just wants to make sure that Mike isn't messing around, because he does bring up continuity that you were trying to get with Regina. So what do you care about the bro code? Remember, you tried to get with Regina because you thought I was making a pass at Pam. And yeah, to be honest, his thought process is actually right, but Bill needs to be worried about the situation at hand, about his current marriage. That's all I'm saying. So, he leaves, and then we go over to John, and Lydia gets a bit rough with him, and they have a good laugh, but overall she is ready to go. She's pretty much the man of the situation where, what, I need to go. Wait, what? So John asked the question that I was thinking the whole time about the whole sex thing. Why now? Because the last time, or the first time we went out, you said you weren't going to have sex with me, and then she's like, well, you know what, you're cute, I like you. Oh, okay, oh wow, that's good. So, you have cute baby pics. Okay, yeah, thanks. Well, what I gotta do anything? And our baby is going to be so super cute because I'm ovulating, so I figured this was a perfect time for sex, and I can get pregnant and have a baby. And then John says, what? And she goes take a shower. And that's the end of the episode. But yeah, I thought this was a pretty decent start to season 3. Picked up where we left off, got the story moving, and yeah, easily the best of the 3 episodes. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. As I mentioned before, subscribe and follow me on social media. Links are in the description below.